All right, everyone, the UK can't get enough of that dystopia. Now a think tank, which is like deeply regressive, I'm going to assume run by globalist authoritarians, is advising the UK's government, hey, you know what you should implement as a policy? If people are like trolling MPs, like political figures, if they're trolling government members on Twitter or wherever, because apparently that's common, because the British people are tired of their inept, shitty politicians all around, they should be banned from the internet entirely. Like we should like remove their internet privileges for a week. And I'm thinking, my God, how crazy can it be in the UK? It must feel like your government is like your parent or something. That's exactly what people left your country in the first place to avoid. And this is what Orwell warned against. This is what literally every dystopian author has warned against. This is what the United States has strenuously opposed for centuries now. And you just can't stop doing it. I don't understand how a proposal like this can be, number one, proposed by apparently a government co-opted think tank. Number two, it can be like, I don't see many British people bothering to talk about it. And number three, there are people probably in your government that'll take it seriously. How is it that you could possibly envision a scenario in which your government should be empowered to kick somebody off the internet? Think about it. Think about how much commerce takes place on the internet. That you should be kicked off of the internet for, trolling, harassing an MP. I've got a better idea. How about this? Since in the UK you don't have anything as like a free public forum, just tell the MPs it's okay to ban people who are trolling you. Wouldn't that be a better thing? Instead, like over here, we're going in the other direction saying, well, like Trump's Twitter is a public platform. He can't block people because, his constituents have an inalienable right to comment on what he's doing. Now, of course, by extension, this means Twitter is a public platform. It means that you have to be afforded equal access to that public platform already judicially acquired, which sets the stage, I think, for the death of some of the censorship on Twitter and elsewhere. That's a good thing, by the way. I agree with that decision. I think it was wonderful. In the UK, though, maybe you should go in the opposite direction. You should say, well, these political figures should be able to block anyone. Let them respond. You need a less polite society. Trust me, from the outside looking in from this side of the pond, the UK is too polite. You are too sensitive. You are too sensible. The Pip Pip Cheerio, Top Hat, and British Baking Show sort of thing. Okay, that's very cute. But you're beginning to go a little bit too far into that cute zone. You're becoming a monster. Just a monster with, fluffy hair and big blinky eyes or something. It's like a little bit like a tribble, I suppose, and it is attempting to grow its influence across the universe. I think this is crazy, actually, to tell the truth. I think the idea that a government should be able to kick people off of the internet for wrongthink is itself wrong. The thing is, don't you understand how much this approaches the kind of thing that you see in third world dictatorships? Like tin horn regimes? This is the sort of thing I would have expected Maduro to do. Oh, well, Venezuelans on Twitter that, troll the Venezuelan policy, we're going to throw them in jail for a week. Or we're going to kick them offline. We're going to block this website because it doesn't clean up its image, its act with regards to criticism of dear leader Maduro. This is the sort of thing we'd see in some, impoverished nation in Central Asia, like some former commie bloc state. This isn't the sort of thing, well, at this point I can't actually say. I was going to say this isn't the sort of thing we'd expect from a developed, civilized, Western European nation, but I think that's flipped now. It's like online, on YouTube. A lot of my material, or my channel is unavailable to most users in Germany, France, Italy, some other countries within Europe. It's not blocked in Saudi Arabia. It's not blocked, I get more views from China on my channel at this point. It's not blocked in Saudi Arabia. It's not blocked in Venezuela. It's not blocked in Bolivia. It's not blocked in, Rwanda or something. People in those nations can access my channel. Nobody gives a fuck. But the French government gives a fuck. The German government gives a fuck. The UK's government, I'm very, very surprised, hasn't blocked out my channel by now either. I'm very surprised that the UK has held off actually blocking out all of the alt media. I'm really surprised. I mean, it might have something to do with the fact that with alt tech rising up, it's going to be harder and harder for them to do that, but at some point I expect that will happen. And unfortunately, it looks like there's really no pep in the UK's population to protest these things. Now, you know better. You know that it's a bad idea, probably. I have plenty of British viewers. You're going to see this and be like, oh, this is dystopian bullshit. Then fucking do something about it. Your soccer team loses and you burn cars in the street. And yet something like this happens. Look, people could lose their jobs over this. And who determines what is harassment or trolling anyway? Some British bureaucrats? The British police, the ones that confiscate your bike wheel, or, they think, hey, this padlock is a deadly weapon. You've got a butter knife on you, 10 years in jail for you in the salt mine or something. How can you trust your government to make any such judgment? I know I wouldn't. I wouldn't trust the U.S. government. I wouldn't trust Trump to make such judgments. No, or even I wouldn't even trust like a Rand Paul to make such judgments. What should be constituting acceptable speech? All of it, really. Is it a credible threat? Is it some form of slander and defamation? Is it attempting to prevent others from speaking, like chronic harassment, to the criminal degree? No, then it should be legal. Yeah, absolutely. And U.S. firms need to definitely encourage the UK and other populations to develop technological workarounds to this kind of tyranny. It's happened before. Look, you've had internet blackouts and protests net-wide and all sorts of stuff before for things that essentially were related to trying to tax e-commerce or something like that. You remember SOPA or PIPA or ACTA? You remember how people reacted to those years and years ago? Where's the protest culture of the internet gone? And by the way, those were mainly led by liberals. I think it's because the liberals want censorship now. It's really, really weird to see. They're not really liberals anymore. I'm not sure exactly what you'd call them. But yeah, the UK's government soon will ban UK citizens maybe from using the internet altogether. It's not, hey, Twitter's allowed to ban you because you were abusive to Theresa May or something. It's not like that. It's you can't use the internet, period. By the way, this will require them to have an ID act of some sort. Like when you go on the internet, there won't be any anonymous posting anymore. There won't be any VPNs available. They'll be illegal in the UK. Trust me, that's the next step coming. That's about all. Peace out.